morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everybody, wherever you're calling in from. I'm Jeanette Anderson, your hostess of the Bodacity Show. And today with me, I have the very bodacious and awesome Vikki MacKinnon calling in from Calgary. Are you in Calgary right now?
Yes, I am.
I don't know if it's snowing there, but it's snowing where I am. It's, yeah, not good. Anyways, today we are going to give you some great information about the upcoming year, about 2023. Vikki is the priestess of numbers. So I'll introduce her and then I'll ask her a little bit about her and we'll get rocking on exactly what 2023 is going to bring for all of us. So Vikki MacKinnon is an author, international speaker, and intuitive numerologist. Her passion is helping people gain greater understanding of themselves, their potential, their relationships, and their journey, and helping them connect with their authentic personal power. She has prepared numerology profiles for individual clients in North America, Ireland, Britain, New Zealand, and Japan. As founder of the Born to Thrive Numerology Course and the Advanced Numerology Mentorship Program, Vikki has taught and mentored aspiring numerologists in Canada since 2008. She's also trained numerologists in Japan from 2008 to 2010. Ooh, you're getting around. I love it. All right. So let's find out more about you. Tell us something that we wouldn't learn from your website or your bio, or we wouldn't guess.
Okay.
People are surprised to find out about you.
Just a little personal tidbit. I really like dancing and I love to jive and love the waltz, and met my husband at a New Year's Eve singles dance.
Oh,
and
lovely.
This year we're celebrating 30 years.
Oh my goodness, congratulations. I should get out more, I think. I think that's the moral of that story. Good, awesome. Okay, Vikki, so tell us why you got so excited about numerology. What's your why in terms of why you do what you do?
Because the world is a better place when we lift each other up. That's the short answer.
All right.
There is a story to that, of course. I discovered numerology when I was 11 years into an abusive marriage. I didn't know who I was. I had no dreams of my own. I did not believe that I had any gifts to share with the world. And I had no idea that I was supposed to feel worthy and happy and fulfilled. And the numbers actually played a huge role in my healing from that particular marriage, and learned so much about myself, what I needed, what I was meant to accomplish in this world, what I was meant to share with others, what my strengths and gifts were. It just really helped me to believe in myself and connect with my innate gifts. And I felt empowered from knowing my numbers. And it just made a world of difference to my self-esteem, because when you have low self-esteem, that can be a real black hole that's just very hard to get out of. And so after 15 years with somebody who felt they needed to, diminish me and hurt me and that kind of thing, I made a promise to myself, and basically to myself and the universe. What I promised is that I would make the most of every opportunity to help people feel good about who they are, what they contribute, and where they can go in this journey. So
beautiful. I'm sorry that you had that experience, but what a beautiful framing to take out of that, to the intention that you came out of that situation with. And so how did numbers help you with your esteem?
Well, essentially, just sort of digging into the numeric energy. Every letter in your name tells a story about you, and of course, every letter in your name has a numeric equivalent. And of course, we have numbers in our birth date as well. Your name is about what you bring to life. Your birth date is about what life brings to you, and your name is about your strengths, your talents, your predispositions, your character. Some people say, oh, that's your personality. To me, it goes much deeper. It's about your character, who you are, who you're becoming, and what you're really willing to share with the world. Your date is more about the kinds of experiences that you're meant to have in this life journey, and how you can make the most of those experiences, how you can work proactively with the energy of the numbers in your life path or in your minor cycles, major cycles, your personal years, and so on. So that just helped me tremendously to know so much more about myself, because really self-esteem has to begin with self-awareness.
Okay, so that makes sense. And so I just want to make sure I got it right, that your name number is about what you bring to life and your birthday is about what brings you life. Is that
What life brings to you?
What life brings to you, right? That's what I wrote down.
The challenges, the opportunities, the gifts, the requirements.
Okay, awesome. So let's talk about 2022 or 2023. So 2022 was, I think you said, the year of kindness. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe that was how I titled that particular article. Indeed, you know, it was a year for us to. It's a very emotional energy. The six wants to create harmony and balance and love between themselves and in their community and of course family and close friends and that kind of thing. Six wants to embrace everyone and can everybody please be happy, and of course that's quite a challenge in itself. The seven, and now I'm talking about the collective energy of our universe, of our global year here. It's basically the 7 year 2023 will seem very different for everyone. It's not got the same emotional tug to it. It's the most spiritual number. It's deep, it's reflective, it's intuitive and intellectual. We think of it as the number of the sage on the stage, so to speak. One who transforms knowledge into wisdom. And that's a kind of an alchemical process as well, you know. One who seeks to learn, always has an open mind and seeks to learn and then share with others. And they do it in such a way that it's not, you know, blasting it out and everything. It's more like, okay, I trust in the universe to bring to me those who can benefit from what I have to share. That's
okay.
teaching.
So I'm gathering this would be a good year for those who really want to step up and out more with their message.
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the first things that comes to mind with the seven, is that because it is a number of learning, it's an intellectual number as well as a spiritual number. It's a number of learning. It's a number of expertise. I always think of this being a perfect year for anybody who really wants to further develop their position as an expert in their particular subject matter field. And I have a little mantra that I always tell my clients: when it comes to expertise, you got to know it, grow it, and show it.
Know it, grow it, and show it. I love it. Okay, that's great. I'm going to write that one down. So tell us more about this year in terms of kind of what it means to our collective society, because we've gone through a lot of transitions in the last few years. So 2020, there was lots of discord and us versus them and challenge and Black Lives Matter and so forth. You know, COVID, all the things we've come through, the tons of stuff around the elections in the US. And then and last year was a year of kindness and coming more together. What's this year collectively going to be more like?
Excuse me, I have a bit of a cold today, so I'm
okay. Well, thank you for being here anyways. I appreciate you showing up.
Excuse me. Okay, so collectively, I think we're going to find that 6 was definitely a year when we wanted to come together. 7 does tend to be a year when we stand back a little, when we step back. It tends to be a time of reason and rationality, and people want to have time to themselves. It's really important. You may find that, you know, normally outgoing and sociable people just really value that quiet time, that time to go within, to integrate. And my goodness, we know we've had so many changes, so much upheaval in the world. And this gives I think, we're going to find that it's a very different kind of an energy around us this year, and it gives us a chance to integrate some of the changes, to really reflect on the lessons and the blessings, because this was not without its many blessings as well, you know. And it's a year of people sort of go, as I said, going within. The word secret actually adds up to 7. And definitely people who have a lot of 7 energy around them do tend to be secretive, perhaps aloof, which, you know, it's not really a bad thing to be secretive, because it shows that you value confidentiality, and you know, and it's not about keeping everything to yourself, but it's about the need to know, being able to discern the need to know. So so that's one area where I think we're going to find that, you know, there may be a lot of secrets being kept, or perhaps towards the end of the year, maybe around this time next year, a lot of secrets coming to light as well. And of course, you know, we think very often our mind goes right to politics, and, you know, particularly in the States, but also here in Canada, and certainly Britain, and every country is not without their political struggles, you know. We may find that it's hard for people to get information about where we're going with all this Donald Trump stuff, for example, or what's happening with leadership in Britain and Canada and that kind of thing. So that could be a little bit difficult. People will just really have to dig in. The 7 brings a gift of analysis and discernment as well. So it's a really positive time for troubleshooting in the, you know, the overall picture, you know, as I said, government and society and that kind of thing, large agencies and organizations, really getting into examining their systems and examining the quality of what they're able to deliver to their clients and to people who need their services. And so it's time for discernment that way. It's also a time for troubleshooting. We often find that people, for example, people who have a lot of 7 energy in their personal profile will often tend to be the go-to person in the workplace. This is the person who can step back from fear-based emotions, from drama and turmoil and that kind of thing, and just offer good, viable solutions. Very often, a 7 individual, or an individual who's got a lot of 7 energy, or in this particular 7 global year, you'll find the people say, I don't have an answer for that right now. Leave that with me, and I'll get back to you. Okay. You know, they're not ones to just kind of, oh yeah, that's, you know, just do this, everything's fine. You know, they want to, it's a cautious number. It's a number that we think of, these are thinkers. These are people who want to reflect and think on things. See, they do the SWOT analysis. Okay. You know, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Not that I need to tell you about that, but this is, I think you're going to find that a lot more companies and perhaps agencies like the healthcare system or the education system are really digging into the strategic planning, really taking a good hard look at, you know, the options, the possibilities, and what can we learn from these situations? What can we do about them? What can we try? And that kind of thing. You know? So
it sounds like, if I'm hearing this from a individual entrepreneur or business point of view, it's a year to kind of go in and get real clear on who we are, what we want, to have that internal referencing, and what is the contribution we want to make, then to put systems and processes in place and to create the structure that really supports us in coming out and speaking more and being seen more and educating and really coming forward more this year.
Yes.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh, you couldn't have said it better, really. I'm just writing it down myself because I want to, speak to those points. First of all, the word clarity adds up to 7.
Ah, okay.
One of my favorite things to do with numerology, I discovered this, probably a good 5 or 6 years ago, was that there are words in our English language that kind of embody the essence of the number that they add up to.
Mhm.
And so certainly the word clarity adds up to a 7. And absolutely, this is a time when people want to step back and get really clear on what's working and what's not for them. Absolutely a time of structure and organization. The 7 craves order in their life. And so, it's a time for order, and it's a time for discipline. It's like you're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. But either complete it or delete it, but don't have this stuff hanging around, taking up mental real estate in your head, or maybe real estate on your desk, or wherever these projects end up, kind of thing. And the word declutter comes to mind so often these days. And the 7 is absolutely a wonderful year for minimalists. But I got to thinking, let's not say declutter, let's not say cut back, let's say simplify. It's a much nicer word.
Yeah.
Simplify,
Yep, I love that.
Yeah. So, and the other thing I wanted to mention too is that this is an excellent year to work with a coach on strategic planning, or to join a mastermind group. This is the kind of thing you do in a 7 year.
Right. That makes lots of sense. And it's funny because I literally on Saturday just did a workshop on getting clear on going in, what's your purpose, then strategizing, and then putting some plans in place around what structure you need to support you. So I'm glad to know that I was right on track.
Yeah. And what's really interesting is that so often people are just kind of intuitively led to that type of those types of patterns as well, those types of realizations. So yeah, I was actually thinking about that when I saw that you were doing that strategic planning workshop.
Yeah.
I wanted to say too that this is a year, in a 7 year, we do have to be patient, because results are not always readily seen, and you may feel like you're not getting anywhere, but it is not a time for the big hustle. It is not a time for struggle and strive. It's a time for strategize and allow, trust the universe, make an effort to do your meditations, journaling, affirmations, all the things that set the positive intentions around what you're planning to accomplish this year, and then allow the universe to take its time and allow this to unfold. And that can be kind of hard for us because we often have a sense of urgency around things we want to do,
Well, and it kind of, so help us think about how to think about this, because when you say, okay, so you go in, you get clear, you strategize, you put structure in place, and then it's really you're being seen and coming out and teaching and having your voice heard. For many people, that might occur to them as striving and pushing to be seen, to be out there more. So you mentioned allow. How do we allow and still get out there a lot more?
Yeah, because when you're in business, you do have to be out there. You do have to be speaking to people. You do have to promote. I guess it's just in a way that with the extra added bonus of the discernment that 7 energy that brings us, the opportunities to really be discerning in how can I best focus my energy in such a way that I meet my target group, that I meet the people who most need to hear this message, because definitely you can't shut down your message. It has to be out there, but it's done in such a way that it's being presented as an informed opportunity and option for people to follow.
Okay, so maybe it's more like getting on 20 of the right stages in front of the ideal audience instead of 50 stages, just so you can be out there and be seen,
Yeah,
anybody and everybody.
say and spray kind of approach as
Exactly.
opposed
So
to,
being
yeah,
more strategic about it and being more discerning
yeah.
and less work, more results.
Oh, absolutely. Now, one of the things about number 7 is that it is a time for rest, you know, it is a time when we can start to feel really tired. Actually, we can start to feel really tired in that 6th year, because that's an emotionally draining period. And it's a time when we may feel like we have to be all things to all people, you know, and trying to please people, take care of people, and people relationships, you know, that kind of thing, you know. Whereas the 7 year, when we get to that 7 year, we're kind of weary from all that, you know, we're kind of emotionally drained and exhausted. And the 7 is definitely a time to rest, a time to step back, a time to get your rest and replenish your energy. And so one of the things that comes to mind, I keep thinking about when I was a kid, my dad used to say, you've got to work smarter, not harder,
Mm.
you know. And the 7 year can help you to get clear on what will working smarter look like for me. And if you have no idea, just voice that out loud or voice it in meditation. The universe delivers.
Okay, so it sounds like also kind of a year of surrender too, to let ourselves be, and to rest and to listen, to be in collaboration with the universe more, versus just trying to push and come from our head and do what we know.
Oh, absolutely. And another thing about the 7 year, that when it comes to a 7 year, I'm reminded of a quote that I saw years ago, that when fishermen can't go to sea, they mend their nets. And this would definitely be a time for mending our nets.
Okay, yep, that's that infrastructure and putting systems in place.
Exactly.
So that we
Yeah.
can expand, so that we can move out more into the world. So
Mhm.
what are some of the downsides or dangers or challenges of a 7 year?
Okay. The confidentiality piece can be a problem if it's the wrong person expressing that number 7 energy and being, you know, not necessarily confidential, but downright devious. That can be a situation that can come up. The isolation that can occur for some people, you know, depending on their own personal makeup, they may really need more of a social life, and they may find that, you know, there's not enough networking going on. There's not enough opportunities for them to get out and connect. So that can be a downside. And the whole thing about the structure and order, that can be really hard for some people. For you and I, Jeanette, we're beyond, you know, any child raising years or anything, and I know you're on your own there, and so it's probably pretty not too difficult for you to create your own kingdom, as it were, with your own rules, your own order and structure in your life, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's not always the case for people who you know, are involved in raising a family as well, and you know, so it can be hard on relationships, I guess, is what I was trying to.
So the 3 things I hear in that is trust your discernment and be perhaps extra discerning, because there might be things that are hidden from us, secrets or a bit of deviousness. So really check contracts, really check agreements, make sure that you're clear, because it's a year of clarity, and that you don't just take things at face value. And then the second thing is to, I forget what the second one was, but the third one was to make sure that you create the structures that support you, and that you focus on having some structure, that there's freedom in structure. I always rebelled about that, but that we allow ourselves to have freedom from having structure. Oh, and the second one was the isolation, which I can actually really relate to, having this mobile lifestyle. I have to attend to, even though I'm on with Zoom all day long with people most days, it's still actually very isolating because I'm always in a new place, and I'm, connect with my friends, but only on phone or Zoom. And so one of the notes I made is to really spend more time finding networking events where I am, reaching out, going out, making sure that I connect with people more. So it sounds like that's something that all of us really need to attend to this year, is more actual connections.
We do need to attend to that. And you'd think that that would be something that everybody would be looking for after the, the COVID experience, but sometimes it's not. And another thing I wanted to say about the number 7 is that it's a highly intuitive number, and it calls us to trust our intuition and follow our intuition. And certainly, like you said, with signing agreements and that kind of thing. It's not a good year, by the way, for joint ventures, partnerships, and that kind of thing. I wouldn't consider it to be the best year for that sort of thing.
Interesting. Okay, that's very interesting, because I was going to ramp that up this year, but okay, maybe not. So there's
can I just, I'm sorry, I just interact briefly though. In your case, until March, you are in an 8 personal year. So we have to take whatever this collective energy is. We also have to consider that there's the energy of our own personal year, our, where we are according to our birthday. And, for some people, they might be it might be a global 7 year, but maybe it's an 8 personal year for them, or maybe it's a 2 personal year that would support partnerships. So you see, the numbers are centers of energy that balance each other and support each other, or intensify or contradict each other.
Well, speaking of that, because our personal year does impact on the global year, so there's a general theme that impacts everybody, and then there's our personal year and how that interacts with that. You've got a special right now on doing readings for people on their personal year, right? Tell us a bit about that.
Well, I do a half-hour session, and it's recorded for them, and we take a look at their own personal year, an in-depth look at their personal year, and the probable trends, the focus, the best way for them to focus their energy, and pitfalls that they need to be aware of, but also the lessons and blessings and gifts and opportunities that come along with that year as well. And it really makes me sad that so many people don't know what their personal year is, because when you know how the numbers are working in your life and how you can work with numbers, it can certainly bring you to a peace of mind.
Right. Okay. Well, so how do they go about getting that? Do they just email you, or do you have a link to that?
Yeah, email numerology@shaw.ca.
Okay.
Or contact me through my Facebook page.
Okay.
Know your numbers. I'll put that on the group website or Facebook page as well. Know your numbers, or my phone number, and I will put that on the
Okay. I've got your email there and your Facebook group there. And if you want to reach out to Vikki to get your personal reading, and I do recommend that you do, because I got one from her last year and it was very accurate and very detailed and lots of great information. So you can reach out and get that, and it's a special price right now of $80. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's for the half hour. Yeah.
Okay. And you know what, guys, that might also make a really cool Christmas present. So you could use that as a stocking stuffer for a loved one. You could have your whole family get their numbers so that you know how you're going to interact with each other. You could find out a lot about your primary relationship. So do yours and your partners. So there could be lots of great information for you on this. And what I really kind of heard from this, Vikki, is that this is a year for us to go in and really get some internal clarity about who we are going to be, what we want to accomplish, and really where we want to go in our life. Then create structure and call in support for that. Like you said, get a coach, get a mastermind, get technical support, get a team, get support for that, so that you can come out but really in a smart way, not a whole bunch of effort, but really directed and focused effort, not just going willy-nilly, but being very discerning and working, like your dad said, smart, not hard, which is great, because way too many parents try and say you just got to work hard. So it's good that he gave you that message instead. So is there a last thing that you'd like to leave people with in terms of what to think about when it's coming for this year coming up? How can they best capitalize on this year?
How can they best capitalize on this year is to know yourself, know your numbers, find out where those numbers are likely to be taking you over the next few months, next few years. Really, that can really help to guide you and give you the clarity that you need to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more we know ourselves, in many cases, the more we actually really like ourselves, the more we're likely to claim and own our gifts, and the more likely we are then to be able to share those in the world. So know thyself, get thy numbers, and reach out to Vikki. This is a really fun and interesting way to, and deep science and history behind numerology. It's been around for centuries. So and Vikki can, she's got lots of great information about that and about the history of it. So check out her site, Know Your Numbers on Facebook, and her site. Reach out, book a session, and know thyself. And remember, this year is about working smarter, not harder. And which is probably good advice any year, but more so this year. And really coming from that grounded place of who are you wanting to be, and then coming out from there. So stopping the spinning and start really going inning. There we go. All right. So thank you so much for being here, Vikki. I appreciate your passion, and I love that you are so willing to do this so ongoingly. How many years have you been doing this now?
I have been doing numerology since 1981.
Okay, so just a little.
It was a passion and a hobby while I
Yeah.
was a school teacher, and then I took an early retirement from teaching because the universe made it abundantly clear that this was the way that I was going to help people and lift people up.
So
I've been doing it professionally. I'm
Yeah.
sorry?
41 years, if my math is right.
Yeah, that's right. And professionally, offering it over 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So this is someone who has stayed the course because of passion and her desire to contribute. So really, truly connect with Vikki. Thank you for being here, my friend. Great to see you. And we will see you all next week with a wrap-up message about the new year and some ideas about ways that you can actually be more strategic in your business planning and come from your why and clarify your why. So I'll be talking to you next week about how to turn 2023 into 2020 free. That's my theme for the year. So how do we create our own personal freedom? All right. Thanks for being here, everybody. Have a bodacious week. Bye for now.